レブレブレブレ。実写ドラマ版ワンピースシーズン1いかがだったでしょうか。ネットフリックスとトゥモロースタジオと一緒に長い間制作に取り組んできました。配信された作品を世界中の皆さんが楽しんでくれているようで、制作陣の苦労が報われて本当に良かったと思うし、その甲斐があったと感じます。ワンピースを長年好きでいてくれている皆さん、今回初めてワンピースを楽しんでくれた皆さん、本当にありがとうございます。配信から2週間、とてもいい知らせが届きました。なんとネットフリックスが続編の制作を決定しました。イニヤキタッチ実写版麦わらの一味の冒険はまだまだ続きます。脚本が出来上がるまでまだまだ時間がかかりますので、気長にお待ちください。さて、ここから先は麦わらの一味に優秀な繊維が必要になってくる気がします。ご期待ください。
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Netflix released an official teaser for One Piece Season 2. Oda himself teased some really specific characters like Chopper, so we'll break it all down. There's a whole bunch of Easter eggs here. The other cool thing that you may have seen recently is the cast of One Piece was hoping that Jamie Lee Curtis would play Kureha. This is actually Jamie Lee Curtis legit talking about wanting to play the character during the One Piece Netflix Season 2.
Watch
Absolutely.
One Piece. It's amazing.
No, but my favorite character is Tony Chopper.
Oh, okay.
And my friend Brina Palencia does the voice of Tony Chopper in the American dub.
Really?
Wow.
Wow. Okay. So your favorite character is Tony Chopper.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you specifically saying who you would like to play in One
What's
Piece.
her name?
Nico Robin.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to get to play. I'm a little old, but you know, there's that wizened old crone lady, not Nico Robin, that woman.
Kureha, you want to...
Maybe I can be Kureha.
Ooh.
She wears those like really low bell bottoms. She's looking a little nasty, but she has that long kind of stringly gray hair, and my Ruby said that would be what I would play.
Oh, I love
I
that.
can totally see that. Plus, she has that drink. She's super charismatic. She's the mother figure of Chopper.
Yeah.
The funny thing about that is that Jamie Lee Curtis was talking about wanting to be in One Piece way before the cast was actually talking about it. Like, this is the actress who plays Nami saying that she would love for Jamie Lee Curtis to be in the series, but she didn't know about the Jamie Lee Curtis video when she posted this. There's also the idea that Jamie Lee Curtis herself was also already connected to the world of One Piece through the anime series, and her friend being the dub actor for Chopper's character, who they are introducing during Season 2, according to Oda. I also think it's funny that she previously wanted to be Nico Robin, but like she's very honest about this. Like, you know what? I've kind of aged out of the role. Like, I'm a little bit too old for Nico Robin.
I'd be Nico Robin from One Piece.
What did she say? I don't know who I would be, and I'm having a panic attack. You don't know who she is?
Fabulous Tony Chopper.
Now you have a
present.
body to accompany you.
I'm so excited
Mexico.
about my Tony Chopper present. I love Tony Chopper. It's my favorite character in One Piece. Have you watched all of it?
Yes.
Everything.
Actually, yes.
So who's that old wizened woman who wears the low-cut bell bottom?
Yeah,
He
the
wants
second
me to play that woman.
Now Kureha is like her backup, so I'll be doing bonus videos for One Piece Season 2 as Netflix releases more footage and teasers, so be sure to subscribe to get all those. It'll be a while before Season 2 happens. During the teaser, Oda is very gracious that Netflix decided to renew the show, but I think we all kind of expected them to do it. It was super popular. The big surprise, though, is that they decided to announce it officially so soon instead of waiting till after the strike, because they can't start filming till after the strike is done. The showrunner said that they had written scripts for Season 2 before the strike started. It sounds like what Netflix did when they picked up Season 1 is they told them to prepare Season 2, expecting that they'd renew it eventually, just kind of waiting to see how Season 1 went before they actually formally did that. The showrunner claimed that when they made the deal for Season 1, they plotted out Season 2 and Season 3 in a very detailed way. They have a really solid idea of what those seasons will adapt from the manga, but beyond Season 3, they only have loose concepts about what that's going to be. Even though if you've read the manga, you have a pretty solid idea of how the story progresses. They did say they want to adapt all the manga depending on when Oda decides to end it. They legit have a chance if they're going to speedrun entire sagas with each season. And based on their initial outline for what Season 2 and Season 3 are going to be, it sounds like that's what they're going to do. Oda says the scripts for Season 2 need some polishing. The showrunner also said they wouldn't start filming until after the strike, but to expect Season 2 in about 18 months or so if things go well the next couple of months. My assumption, just based on the way things are going, Netflix will release it around summer 2025. The major new thing that Oda was teasing during the trailer was Tony Chopper joining the series. He said that the Going Merry could use a good doctor. Chopper does wind up becoming the Straw Hat's doctor during the series. The real big question, though, everyone had was how they were going to do the Chopper character. Will he be a special effect like CG, or will he be more like a Muppet? Look at the character like Grogu on The Mandalorian. That's probably a good template. Some of the time when they're filming with the Grogu character for episodes, they use a physical puppet in scenes, and sometimes he's just completely CG. You can kind of spot the differences if you rewatch the episodes really closely, but they're getting pretty good at blending both versions of the character. My assumption is because Netflix is spending so much money on this new One Piece series is they'll do the same thing they do for Grogu for the Chopper character. He'll just be part puppet and part CG, just depending on what he's doing in scenes. Chopper comes from Drum Island in the Grand Line. It's a winter island renowned for its good doctors. The Kureha character that Jamie Lee Curtis was talking about and wants to play is Chopper's adoptive mother and his mentor. Netflix love putting big celebrities in shows like this, so they probably jumped on the phone the second that they saw the clip of Jamie Lee Curtis talking about wanting to be in the series. So as long as Oda is on board with her playing the character and they could work out a financial deal with her, it sounds like it should work out. But Netflix can't make any kind of deals like that till after the strike is over, so we probably won't hear anything about her potentially joining the series for months. The other reason why she was talking about wanting to play Nico Robin, even though that was a long time ago during Season 2, is because they also introduced the Nico Robin character during Season 2 through the Baroque Works storyline. Season 2 is largely going to adapt the Alabasta saga from the manga. Some people call it the Arabasta saga. You can call it whichever you want. Originally, the manga referred to it as Alabasta, so most people who do that in present day are people who just read the manga back in the day. They also refer to the second saga sometimes as the Baroque Works saga because they're the main antagonist driving the main plot forward the entire season. Crocodile is their leader. He's one of the 7 warlords like Mihawk. His grand plan is to create a perfect kingdom, and he created the Baroque Works organization to do that, but really his secret goal in Season 2 is to just take over the Alabasta Kingdom and become its ruler. Within the world of One Piece, the Alabasta Kingdom is kind of like a stand-in for the Middle East. It's like a desert kingdom. What they'll probably do in Episode 1 is a combination of Logtown and Reverse Mountain. That's what the teaser post-credit scene was for during the finale. The man was Captain Smoker looking at Luffy's wanted poster. Season 1 was meant to adapt the East Blue Saga. Logtown is like the end of that in the manga, but the showrunner said that they just ran out of money, they ran out of budget, so they had to leave Logtown for Season 2. They'll probably do a speedrun version of Logtown at the beginning of Episode 1 where Luffy the Straw Hat show up. They pay off a bunch of references back to Season 1. He meets Captain Smoker, Vivi, Buggy, returns with Alvida. Logtown is a really important place in the One Piece universe for a lot of reasons. Logtown was featured in the first episode of the series because that's where Gol D. Roger originally came from. That's also where he was killed by Luffy's grandfather. Practically, it's also really important because it's the last stop on the way to the Grand Line before Reverse Mountain, so any ship wanting to travel to the Grand Line has to pass through Logtown. Captain Smoker is the marine leader of this area. He sees his wanted poster wanting to take Luffy down just because their whole thing is arresting pirates. Smoker also has devil fruit powers. His powers allow him to create, control, and transform any part of his body into smoke. If you're a fan of Avatar The Last Airbender, and Netflix is doing a live-action Avatar The Last Airbender series, I just did a trailer video for it, Smoker's powers would be kind of like airbending, but just for smoke. That's why he's always smoking so much. Why would you smoke 2 cigars unless that was part of some base power set that you had? How fast do you want to give yourself cancer? They'll probably have Luffy's rematch with Buggy and Alvida, who's gotten her slip devil fruit powers. They kind of tease that at the end of Season 1 with Alvida wanting to join Luffy's crew. They basically team up. Luffy and the Straw Hats also run into Vivi, who was one of the most important new characters in Season 2 just in general. She is the princess of the Alabasta Kingdom and secretly infiltrated Baroque Works, hoping to stop them from taking over her kingdom. She starts out as an antagonist to Luffy and the Straw Hats, but eventually joins the crew for the remainder of that saga, which will probably be Episode 1, was to kill the giant whale for its meat. Luffy and the others prevent her from doing that, and because the whale is so important for other arcs way later in the manga, other characters way later in the manga, I think they'll probably do him at some point during Episode 1. Maybe a really quick scene, but it just makes sense to include the giant whale. Then they'll probably just do Reverse Mountain for like the second half of the episode.
The entrance to the Grand Line isn't too far off, but I think there's a mistake on the map. But it doesn't make any sense. These elevations show a mountain. I mean, how can a river go up a mountain?
Episode 2 will probably be Whiskey Peak, where they encounter Baroque Works. Vivi becomes a bigger part of the team. They also introduce Nico Robin here in the manga, so they might do that on the series, but she doesn't actually join the crew full on till after the end of what would be the Season 2 finale, basically. That'll probably be some of their teaser for Season 3 at the end of the Season 2 finale. Episode 3 will probably be at least most of or some of Little Island, maybe some of Drum Island too, where Chopper becomes the Straw Hat's doctor. They arrive at the island in the middle of a Game of Thrones power struggle, but there's a bunch of Little Island stuff that happens before that. I don't know how quickly they're going to speedrun that. The whole thing with Little Island is it's kind of like Jurassic Park in the One Piece universe. Their island is stuck in the past, basically with dinosaurs all over the place. There are a bunch of giants that live there, so the name Little Island is meant to be ironic. They'll probably use all of Episode 4, Episode 5 to cover all of the Drum Island arc. Luffy winds up having to do battle with Wapol, whose family used to rule the island. They have a big Game of Thrones power struggle where he tries to return and take control again, and they have to prevent that. Then Episode 6 through Episode 8, like basically the rest of the show, the second half of the show, will probably be all of the Alabasta arc, where they actually start traveling there with Vivi to stop Baroque Works. Episode 7 will probably be where they actually have their big battle with the Straw Hats versus everyone from Baroque Works. In Episode 8 will probably be Luffy versus Crocodile, and then teasing Season 3, which will be the Skypiea saga. Basically, the Sky Island saga. A lot of people were joking about this after they released Season 1, like this is going to break Netflix's budget, but I'm sure they'll figure out how to do it. Just to address what's going to happen beyond Season 3, I do think Netflix will give it at least 4 to 5 seasons. Beyond that, Netflix has a terrible track record with renewing shows for longer periods. Stranger Things, for example, is an exception, not the rule. Really hoping that they give them at least 7 seasons to do as many of the One Piece arcs as possible. My assumption is that they can't do that, then they'll try to speedrun the most essential parts of the later manga so they can give the show the same kind of ending as the manga, but if Oda hasn't ended it yet, they might have to do a series original ending if they don't just end at some earlier point in the manga. This is a very Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire kind of problem. Like HBO had to end the Game of Thrones series before the Song of Ice and Fire novels it was based on ended, so they kind of had to do a series original ending with like one plot point that George R.R. Martin had told them. The only part about the original book ending that George R.R. Martin revealed to the showrunners was that Bran would become king. Everything else was basically original to the show. The One Piece Netflix showrunner, the producers, pretty much the entire cast are all such super fans of the One Piece manga. I don't think they're going to do that for the Netflix series. I think that they'll work out something with Oda. But let me know in the comments, if they do have to end the show before Oda ends the manga, how do you want them to end the show? Post all your Season 2 predictions in the comments, and I'll do more One Piece Season 2 videos when they release more information or an official Season 2 teaser, but they're probably not going to do that. At least Netflix won't announce it until after the strike is done. Click here for my One Piece Season 1 post-credit scene video, and click here for my Avatar The Last Airbender Netflix trailer video and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.